Sasa ukidate jinn or a demon-possessed woman, what are you supposed to do when you find out? It is not my story. I actually got to hear this story live from where I went to make my nails. Actually, the owner, Applewood Adams, like Suite 106 or something. So let's read this. I hope we get to learn something from it. Okay? It says here that if someone out here does not believe that life is spiritual, then sijui join niwaambie nini. My story started with one DM. Just one. So I'm a bachelor who God has blessed with a kabiashara kadogo na kapesa hapa na pale. Though ukai biashara ndogo. But let's proceed. So all of these fine days, excuse me, I decided to be brave enough and posted my life as a bachelor living in Nairobi. And I noticed that there was a bit of traction, especially from women. And one lady specifically stood out to me. So time iliendelea, we continued to DM each other and we continued to grow whatever it is we were growing. Whether it was familiarity ama relationship, mimi sijui. Anyway, at that time I needed this because my girlfriend and I were in an on and off relationship. And joy, when I mean we were off, we were off. And when we were on, we were really, really, really on. Anyway, as I told you, I continued chatting with this beautiful lady, and she was from Mombasa, actually. We vibed, and this went on for months. And as a man who leaves his house, goes to work, and comes back home, meeting women is very hard. So this communication actually kept me sane. Unajua wanaume kama mimi, sorry, kupata wasichana is very hard. So one of these fine days, our coastal lady, let's actually give her a name at this point. Amina it is. Ama tumuite Aisha. I cannot do Amina because Amina means amen, and there was nothing amen about this woman. So apologies to all the Aishas out there. Aisha calls me and tells me that she has found a job in Nairobi and there's an interview upcoming, and she's requesting whether I can host a kidogo. Definitely. I didn't even think twice about it. As a man who lives alone and has talked to this woman for months and had 2 spare rooms, so hata kama sinitake, I was okay with it. Okay? Na nilikuwa nishaanza kuboeka kwangu. So siku moja niko job and Aisha calls me and tells me that ako Nairobi and I should go pick her up. So I left work, went picked her up and dropped her at my place. Joy, for starters, as I said, she was a very beautiful woman. I came back home hiyo siku nilipata nimepikiwa Joy. The food was amazing. And as a monogamous man, coming back home to a clean house and a woman and some really good food, especially kina chapo, that calms a man's spirit down. So anyway, we talked for a few hours. Akenda kulala kwa bedroom yake. A few hours coming down the line, she knocks on my door and tells me that she cannot sleep alone and she's feeling cold. And that is how our relationship actually started. So anyway, she went back to coast. My girl and I went back on. So one of these fine days, I'm taking my girl hapo Paxman aende akule kanyama. Hata usiku tugeenda Kamakis. I don't know what even happened. Aisha calls me and tells me that ako kwa gate and that she's pregnant and she wants us to talk. And I didn't know what any other man could do. I had an argument with my girlfriend, make sure I dropped her home and make sure it was a big fight. Then I went back to Aisha. Now, my girlfriend was a career woman and she wasn't willing to have a baby or children. So as I sat down with Aisha to talk to her, this felt like a silver platter for me because I'd been ready for almost 2 years. My girlfriend and I later on broke up after Aisha told her everything. A few months down the line, then Aisha moved into my house. So, mimi nika graduate masters and I didn't need a lot of support. So, mom and a friend came over to Nairobi to come and support me. And I invited them over to my place. And this mom's friend, nilikuwa kama mama mwingine I saw growing up. She was actually a very prayerful lady who was gifted with a gift of actually seeing or actually being a seer, but she wasn't using it so much. The immediate time Auntie Doreen walks into my house, she said that there was something smelling, something wrong in my house. She didn't make a deal out of it. She made it look like she was actually praying for blessings, and I appreciate her for that. So, at that time, Aisha was 8 months pregnant. I went to the room to call her kuja salimia again. I find her pacing up and down. Like alikuwa too uncomfortable. I ask her what's going on. She tells me that she wants to go visit her sister. Mara anataka kutoka kwa nyumba. She was just not settled. I ask her to relax and sit down. And trust me, Joy, it was hard for me because tuna wageni kwa nyumba and I have to multitask, going to see Aisha, going to see my mom. So Auntie Doreen wakes up and asks me where the toilet is. I direct her. I directed her to toilet ya wageni. I wasn't sure whether they were going to stay. Now, something else we noticed with mom is that Auntie Doreen literally stayed in that washroom for too long. Karibu 45 minutes to 1 hour. So mom aliamka, akaenda kwa choo, knocked, asked her whether she was okay, and they came back together to the sitting room. Okay? I go back up to check up on my woman, and I find her amelin kwa mirror. Hapo hivo katikati. Now, this is how my house looks, Joy. There's a toilet and the bathroom, and a mirror and a sink hapo katikati. So that's where she was leaning. Asked her what's going on, babe. And she tells me something in the lines of this is my house and this is not right. And that aski vizuri anasikia kufaint. It wasn't the first time of her fainting, so nilikuwa nimezoea and I knew exactly what to do. Mrembo yetu, hata saa zingine when we were having sessions, she would faint, especially the hard ones, and I knew exactly how to handle her. My mom and Auntie Doreen took her to the sitting room. I rushed to go get a cold towel. Coming back, napata Auntie Doreen and my mom wamemfungua tumbo kidogo and pressing her belly gently. I asked them what is going on, and they just said that they were checking up on the babies. But the glances they were sharing, me knowing my mom, there was something wrong about it. Anyway, she was down for 20 minutes, and my mom and auntie left. All right? Now, towards her delivery, she comes back and tells me that she wants to go to Coast, aende azalie huko. That she wants mama yake na sister zake wamchunge, then she would be back. All right? So she traveled at 9 months. Then, on that day of her delivery, I get phone calls from people, either her brothers or uncles or aunties, telling me, congratulations, Shemeji. Nakumbuka, these are people I've never talked to. So I believed their claims, and they sent me pictures of my babies. Now, since alizaki to 11 p.m. hapo, I waited until morning, all right, because alikuwa amezaa CS. So calling in the morning, we even video called. She went to the nursery, showed me that one of my babies, okay, since we're having twins, the boy, alikuwa amemeza a bit of amniotic fluid na alikuwa amechokiwa na umbilical cord. So aliachwa huko. So she went back home with our baby girl. All right. The next day we talked, everything was okay. But usiku, she said she had to rush the baby to hospital. That is our baby girl. All right. What do I hear the next day? That my babies are gone. My babies are dead. I'm like, what is going on here? Everyone was calling me, telling me, pole sana wanaomboleza na mimi. I was like, what do you mean? I was just preparing my house for my lady and my kids. I just decorated the room. One side is blue, one side is pink. A whole 3 drawers full of Pampers. And I mean, clothes were neatly arranged. Alafu join ambiwa, my kids are gone. And that they're going to even bury my kid within the next few hours because they're Muslims and they cannot wait for more than 24 hours. Then they sent me a video of her crying akiwa juu ya kaburi. Joy, honey, these things were playing out so fast. But there's something I noticed when she sent me pictures earlier. The babies looked a little different. But niliona ni kama labda ni juu wameoshwa. That was the difference. Right? Now, I called her after this and I told her to pick up the phone or else. She picked up the phone and I told her about the pictures and how I felt something was a bit off. She tried to gaslight me. Akasema atakuja home tuongee, that she wants us to talk. Mimi nikamwambia hapana, that's not going to happen. So I went, bought another Airtel line and called all those numbers together na namba ile sitake alikuwa amenipea months ago. Calling and asking and telling them sorry for what has just happened. And people were just confused. That's when I realized, Joy, that there's something off. I call her again and I asked her what's going on. Nimepiga zile number. Akaniambia ati they actually disowned her because she was pregnant and decided to date a Christian. So her real family disowned her and she decided to hire people. All right? So that she can play this along, and she didn't want me to leave her. I went and met Mom and Auntie Doreen, and that is when they told me everything. How this lady was an agent sent not to kill me, but to collect my babies and semen. And when Auntie Doreen pressed her stomach, she felt that there was no baby. And this was actually spiritual. And that is why Aisha was uncomfortable. That when Doreen was looking at her, akuwa naona ni kama Aisha is a real person. And the toilet that was the altar where angetoka aende afanye mambo yake huko. Ndio maana Doreen alikuwa amekaa kwa hiyo choo sana. And that this lady was not having a fainting problem. She was attending one of those abrupt spiritual meetings. I asked them, kwa nini wangeniambia mapema, when they actually found out about this. And they told me because she had cast a spell of love. Hata wangeniambia hiyo siku. Singeamini. Imagine me coming to think about everything that was happening, and I was thinking, oh damn, by the way, Aisha almost never ate in the house. She was almost having chipomwitu all the time. Mimi nikikuja kwa nyumba amepika, but she would never eat her own food. And secondly, there was a time I was having a bit of fight with my business partner. It even got physical. Aisha came to me and told me that anatanipaka mafuta, all right, and that I should wake up with my right foot. I don't know. Something was weird. I'm telling you, right on that table, things started to make sense when I was talking to Auntie Doreen and my mother. I'm not going to say everything now because I want to cut the whole long story short. So what did I do? I called her again, told her what was going on. She sounded very cold. She hung up on me, and it's been 8 months since I ever talked to Aisha. She has never called, she has never texted. If you ask me kwa nini sikuhama, hiyo ni nyumba yangu nilibuy. So siwezi hama unless niende rental, but I stayed out for a bit, went back to my place. And Joy, it's been a journey ever since. I don't know whether I'm ready or not. I don't know whether I'm ready for a woman or not. Mimi siko sure. But all I want to say is, karibuni sana kwa biashara. Life is spiritual. Anyone who comes to this shop kutengenezwa kucha, I promise atatolewa 1,000 off any acrylics or overlays just to promote my nail pattern anaitwa Wycliffe. Life is spiritual, and I hope wapatane na mimi wanisalimie whatever the number is, bora wakuje na jina yako. Wow.